Hello and welcome to Rise and Unwind. My name is Dan. We're that show that brings people from across the country to talk to us about things that can lift you up throughout the week and maybe let you unwind on the weekend. On this week's show, we got this. Make sure you tell Elton hi for me the next time you say you hang out with him, all right?
I'm seeing him Saturday. I'll send him your best.
All right. Thank you.
He watches all of this, by the way, so he will be seeing this.
I hope so. I'm a huge fan.
Which I'm really excited about, but can't really talk about yet. Sorry, I got ahead of myself.
That's all right. Your bosses aren't watching my show. You could put as many spoilers here as possible.
It might be.
All of that and more right here on Rise and Unwind. New data shows the average shopper is budgeting about $844 on holiday gifts this year. Though, that doesn't mean gift givers aren't going to be indulging in gifts. Today, we're talking with Catherine Bruce, the manager of market insights at Cotton Incorporated. There's a new survey that's showing how consumers are trying to save money and saying that they would like to receive clothing as a gift this holiday season instead. So, welcome to the show, Catherine. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Considering that there's like this uncertainty of the economy, are shoppers changing their habits from the previous year?
So we see a continuing trend from starting in 2022. We asked consumers, 2/3 of consumers said that inflation will impact their holiday shopping. That's actually down this year to just 6 in 10, but it's certainly on consumers' mind as they're adding up that $844. They want to make sure that, they're getting useful things that will surprise and delight those on their gift list.
So what are some of the more interesting results of this year's Lifestyle Monitor survey and something that we can learn to put into our own budgets?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, consumers are wanting to receive clothing as gifts. 7 in 10 consumers say this is a wish list on their item. And this tracks with what we've been surveying over the last, few years, where consumers say that wearing comfortable clothing helps them feel better. With so much chaos going on around them, they like to cozy up in a nice sweater, a nice blanket, I say, and so they're giving that gift of comfort, and consumers are really wanting to receive that from their loved ones as well.
So how can shoppers check the quality of clothing items that they purchase for gifts?
Yeah, so there's, so many different things that we can think of for quality, and buying online or in store, it can be tough to tell. And so one thing we suggest at Cotton Incorporated is to check the fiber content, whether that's on the physical label because you're in-store shopping, or it's on the description online. That'll tell you, that is it something you're going to want to wear over and over again? Because we find that the items that consumers keep in their closets and wear again and again are often made of cotton. So those are your jeans, your t-shirts, your sweatshirts, your pajamas. Those have the qualities that will last from the natural fiber. They have durability, they have quality, they have breathability, and we see consumers returning to them over and over again.
Dr. Catherine Bruce, thanks for joining me this morning. Where can we go for more information?
So if you go to thefabricofourlives.com, there's a link for Shop Cotton, and you can find more information about, great cotton items out there, and things that you may want to add to your holiday list as well.
All right, thanks for joining me this morning.
Thank you so much.
It's the holiday season, and there's no better time to be sure that your internet connection is ready for the seasonal demands of shopping, gaming, video chatting, you name it. The question is, can your modem keep up with your family's high-speed pace at the busiest time of the year? Well, Angela King has more.
Whether streaming holiday music and movies, gaming, video calling with loved ones far away, or online shopping, our holiday festivities are increasingly dependent on a strong and speedy internet connection. Having the best equipment, including a high-performing modem, can be key to faster connectivity. The experts at ARRIS Surfboard say upload speed makes a big difference when it comes to high-def streaming, gaming, and large data uploads. The technology company just introduced 2 of the fastest, high-performing cable modems on the market.
The new ARRIS Surfboard G20 Wi-Fi cable modem is next level with 2-in-1 functionality. It supports the fastest upload speeds and includes a Wi-Fi router in one device, allowing customers to take full advantage of the latest plans offered by cable providers, while the S34 cable modem is also optimized with the fastest upload speeds available while delivering up to 2.5 gigabits per second of download speed.
For more, visit surfboard.com.
The holidays are coming up fast, and they bring plenty of opportunities to connect with people who you care about the most. But with all these gatherings and travel, it's also time when viruses like COVID-19 can spread easily. So joining us today to help us stay healthy and protected this holiday season is Dr. Reed V. Tuckson, co-founder of the Black Coalition Against COVID and chairman of the board for the Coalition for Trust in Health and Science. Welcome to the show, Dr. Tuckson. How are you?
Terrific. Glad to be with you and your audience.
All right. So we head into this holiday season. What should people be knowing about staying protected from COVID-19 and some of these other viruses?
Well, we are really all aware that there are a lot of respiratory diseases circulating around, whether it's the atypical pneumonia or RSV or the flu, or as we're discussing now, COVID. So we need to be prepared to prevent disease. The holiday season and colder weather means more intimate indoor contact. And that means viral diseases like COVID spread more easily. Our coughs and sneezes can transmit particles more easily. And unfortunately, COVID hasn't gone away. The virus continues to mutate, and people are getting sick and unfortunately still dying. So I'm here today and pleased to partner with Moderna to help inform people as they make their personal COVID vaccination decision. The overwhelming majority of health professionals and scientists think that everyone 6 months and over should get the updated COVID vaccine now, before the holiday season begins.
And if someone had COVID-19 over the summer, do you think they still need to get an updated vaccine, or will those antibodies that they developed be enough for the winter?
The answer is, unfortunately, they will need to get vaccinated. That their immunity that they got from having been ill during the summer, and I'm sorry for those who were ill, that won't last them through the winter months. And so you are still at risk for getting COVID again. So the best guidance that we have now is that you should be vaccinated 90 days from when you first received your positive COVID test or from the beginning of your symptoms. 90 days, and then we suggest you go ahead and get the vaccine to take you through the rest of the winter months.
So who do you think is at most at risk for severe symptoms or complications from COVID-19?
One of the things that makes me so sad about this disease is the impact it has on our seniors. Those who are 65 years and older accounted for more than 60% of all the COVID hospitalizations. And last year, nearly 90% of the deaths were from in the 65 and over population. So they are particularly vulnerable, and particularly as we go to visit grandma during the holidays. The other group, though, that we are particularly sensitive to is that 3 in 4 adults in the United States have an underlying health condition which can increase their risk for developing bad COVID outcomes. They are immunocompromised from chronic diseases like diabetes, obesity, heart, kidney, lung diseases, or people undergoing cancer treatment. So they are also particularly at risk and should be particularly attentive to this guidance.
Dr. Tuckson, where can people go for more information about this?
2 places I would go. Number one, vaccines.gov. Vaccines.gov. And the second one is disease.education/finder. Disease.education/finder.
Dr. Tuckson, thanks for joining me this morning, my friend.
Thank you, my friend.
The holiday season means millions of Americans will be traveling. But did you know what you pack could have serious consequences for agriculture? African swine fever is a highly contagious disease that doesn't really harm humans, but it devastates pigs, causing global pork market disruptions. With us today is Fernando Lugo, USDA Chief of Operations for the ASF Incident Management Team in the Dominican Republic, to kind of explain how we can help protect the United States agricultural industry during our travels. Good morning, Mr. Lugo. How are you?
Good morning, Dan. Good morning to you.
All right.
And everyone.
So what is African swine fever, and why has the USDA set up protection zone for it?
Yeah, the African swine fever is a very contagious and deadly viral swine disease that affects not only the domestic pigs, it also affects feral swine, and it affects all the pigs of all ages. It is very important to understand that this disease cannot be transmitted to people. Okay, so the persons cannot bake and cannot get infested. Although it could result in pork product shortages, disruptions of trade, and economic impact. There is no treatment so far or vaccine, so prevention is the best way to protect our pigs in our nation. ASF has not reached the U.S. yet, and we want to keep it that way. USDA established the protection zone in Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands after the ASF was detected in the Dominican Republic in the summer of 2021. Travelers can unknowingly carry ASF to the U.S., which would have had devastating impacts and consequences to our agricultural industry. To protect our nation swine industry, USDA, with this implementation of the protection zone, prohibits the passengers from bringing any pork or pork products from the Dominican Republic or any other country into the U.S. Pork products are prohibited to protect and safeguard our swine industry.
So what is the risk if ASF makes its way to the United States mainland, Puerto Rico, or the U.S. Virgin Islands?
Yeah, if the ASF were to spread to the mainland, the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, it could decimate pig populations, leading to pork shortages and dramatically increasing pork prices. Not only that, the amount of jobs we're going to lose that are in the pork industry.
And for people traveling this holiday season, what can they do to help stop the spread of ASF? And also, where should they go for more information?
Yeah, for stop the spread of African swine fever, it is very important that you as a traveler, everyone that is traveling, do not bring any swine or swine products to the U.S. When you're coming back into the U.S., please declare or meat or animal products to your CBP inspector. Also, if you happen to be to a pig farm or around pigs, please also declare that to the inspectors. Don't pack, don't ship any pork products into the U.S. For more information, you can log into our website at aphis.usda.gov/stopasf.
Fernando, Lugo, thanks for joining me this morning.
Thanks to you.
The holidays are here, and it's time to transform your home into a festive haven. From twinkling lights to the warm glow of nostalgic scents, creating that perfect holiday atmosphere. It's all about engaging the senses. So joining us today is ARRIS Slatkin, the king of home fragrance and founder and CEO of Slatkin & Co. Harry has been creating unforgettable home fragrances for over 30 years, and this season he's teaming up with Elton John for a special holiday collection. Welcome to the show, Harry. How are you, man?
I'm good to see you. Thank you for having me. And listen, it's fun hanging out with Elton John and talking scent. And nothing more magical than creating a home fragrance collection with him for his country house outside of England. And I see you have one in front of you. That's got a great story behind it. So every one of these fragrances has a great story behind it. That one is every Christmas, Elton and David, his partner, they actually give each other, their closest friends, a tree to plant on their property. So that tree was planted on their property from a gift from a friend. Now, this Saturday, we're doing live at his home with QVC, so it'll be live on air all day, and Elton will be on. I'm hoping we can get out of him which famous person gave him that tree that created that scent.
Excellent. So how can we use scent to create like an immersive and unforgettable holiday experience in our homes? Our
most sensitive sense is our sense of smell. We smell before we do anything. It goes right to our brain through the synapses in our body and changes our mood. So the only way to really create a home for the holiday moment is not the tree, not the wreath, not the garland, not the lights. That's pretty to look at, but creating the whole atmosphere through scent, because it's truly going to change our atmosphere in us, our family, and friends. So just lighting one candle of mine will fill your entire home with scent, and based on the scent, you can create different mood after different mood all through the holidays.
So how did you actually start this collaboration with Elton John? and well, what do you think makes this collection so special?
Yeah, so, well, working with Elton makes it special because he's actually fastidious about every detail of anything he gets involved in. I mean, look at his music career. Could you have a more important music career? So when we started talking fragrance, it was 30 years ago. So when we started Slatkin and Company, he came, he found my home fragrance. He bought the candles for every one of his homes. So you could imagine it was a pretty big order. So anyone who buys that many products of mine becomes an instant best friend. And we did. And we've remained friends all these years. And 2 years ago, we were at his home in the south of France for dinner. And we were talking about candles. And we thought, what a fun thing to do now that he's in retirement. But I still think he's working hard out there. But we said, let's do some candles together. And it ended up being an entire collection. What you see behind me right now is his home fragrance collection. That's his actually house made out of ceramic that you put a candle in and it all gets lit at night. It's just a magical collection, but every bit of it, from the glass, which is all piano keys all around it, which he wanted it to be so personal. He wanted everyone to know how involved he was. Could you get more close to Elton John than his piano? You couldn't.
Elton's fabulous. I just got to say, he's a legend. It must be amazing just to hang out with him for a little bit.
Yeah, I have to tell you, 2 years ago when we were having dinner, it was just as he was launching that song with Dua Lipa, and you can only imagine sitting there at the terrace, looking out over the south of France. He played it on a boombox. We were dancing. It's pretty surreal sometimes being around Elton John. I'm going to tell you, I'm a boy from Montclair, New Jersey. I can't be that jaded that I'm not impressed when I'm with Elton John. It's impressive.
Harry Slatkin, it's amazing to have you on here today. Where can we go for more information?
So nice to have you on.
And pick up some of your products and check out this holiday collection.
You go to QVC.com to see the whole Elton John collection because they have the exclusive launch on it. You can see other products of mine, or go to SlatkinandCompany.com and see the full array of everything I do. I stay busy. And remember, nothing better than getting lit for the holidays.
Yes. All right. Make sure you tell Elton hi for me the next time you hang out with him, all right?
I'm seeing him Saturday. I'll send him your best.
All right. Thank you.
He watches all of this, by the way, so he will be seeing this.
I hope so. I'm a huge fan. He's awesome. That's it.
Who can't be? We know the songs to every one of his lyrics, and I do musical notes. So I do notes in fragrance, so I feel that we're very akin in that way, but I'm very humbled. I'm certainly not Elton John.
Harry Slatkin, you're on your way, man. You are on your way. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
In just a month, Disney Cruise Line's newest ship, the Disney Treasure, will set sail, bringing a whole new level of adventure to the high seas. But today, we're lucky enough to get a sneak peek from someone who helped bring it all to life. And joining us live from the ship's Grand Hall is Claire Weiss, a Disney Imagineer and part of the design team that helped build this incredible ship. Claire, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm so happy to be here to talk about this beautiful ship behind me.
All right, I'm looking at the Grand Hall behind you. It looks awesome. Can you tell us more about where you are and the inspiration behind it?
Absolutely. So you mentioned I'm in the Grand Hall. The Grand Hall is the center of our ship. So for those who have been on a Disney cruise ship, this is the first place you enter. This is our first entry into our story. Here, our ship is all about adventure. So our Grand Hall is themed towards the fantastical world of Aladdin. What I love about it is that we call it our palace at sea. If you look at all the details around me, they're all bringing to life the story of Aladdin. But for us, it's also the place where your adventure begins. It's where you board the ship, you really look around and understand, wow, there's a ton out here for me to explore and adventure, and I can't wait to start my journey.
So the Disney Treasure, it connects to iconic Disney attractions in some unique ways. What do you think guests could expect to experience all that's on board?
Oh my goodness. I'm so happy you mentioned that. This is actually one of my favorite parts of the Disney Treasure. It's how we've been able to bring stories inspired by our iconic theme park attractions to life on our ships, something we've not done before. So I could go on and on. I know we don't have 3 hours to do this interview, but I want to share one of my most favorite spaces on board the ship. It's the Haunted Mansion Parlor. So for those of you who are parks fans, and it sounds like you're going to be totally familiar with the Haunted Mansion. Imagine getting to step inside that grim, grinning, ghoulish world and spend 30 minutes there, an hour there. We've got that on board. You actually get to go inside the Haunted Mansion world. You get to experience hitchhiking ghosts. You might see Madame Leota materialize around you, create some great signature cocktails themed to this space and this story. It's got a little bit of a nautical twist, so it fits with our cruise ship, but I don't want to spoil the magic for you, but it will blow your socks off. You gotta find a way to get inside the space. And there's so many other spaces on board that take inspiration from some of our park favorites.
Hey, you're allowed to spoil here. I know your bosses don't watch my show. You can tell me anything you'd like.
Well, I'd actually love to tell you we've got another incredible bar on this ship called the Skipper Society. If you're a fan of the Jungle Cruise, imagine getting to go deep into the jungle, be a jungle skipper yourself, and sit in this incredible, cool skipper hangout under a canopy of foliage and, be really in the jungle. You can do that aboard this ship as well.
So does that have okay, I'm going to get a little deep here. Does that have any Society of Explorers and Adventurers references?
There are many SEA references on the ship. I'm so happy to know that you know about the Society of Adventurers, Explorers, and Adventurers. And it's all in the spirit of adventure. The ship is truly about adventure. And I would encourage those like yourself who know really a lot about our stories to spend time on the ship and look for all these incredible details because they're there and they're just waiting for you to find them.
You mentioned that there's some amazing places for adults. Is that what you were talking about, for also grown-ups on the ship?
Absolutely. I mean, what's great about Disney Cruise Line is there's really something for everybody. We're designed with families in mind. We have incredible dining experiences that are for the whole family. And we have things that are just for adults. So actually, one of my favorite spots on this ship is our premium dining district. And this is an area on the ship that's for adults only. And the whole thing is themed to Beauty and the Beast. You have 2 signature restaurants. You have your Palo Steakhouse. You have your Enchanté restaurant. And they're all centered around this incredible bar called The Rose. And The Rose, I'm sure you know, is the enchanted object from the film Beauty and the Beast. And this is an incredible area rich with Disney storytelling, but still really elevated and for adults only. So there's really something for everybody. You
have a dream job as an Imagineer of mine. Designing something like this must be like a really amazing experience. What's it like for you? And what is your favorite space on the ship? I think you mentioned that, but I just want to double check.
Oh my goodness. I mean, being a part of this incredible Imagineering team is honestly a really humbling experience. I mean, it's a collection of hundreds, if not thousands, of people who are gifted at what they do. And what we want to do is bring stories to life for our guests. So for me, being on board the ship and watching the ship come to life is really a dream come true. And I would say actually one of the hardest parts of my job is figuring out what my favorite space on board is because it changes almost every day. So there is really something for everybody. I would encourage you to step inside some of our theme park attraction inspired spaces. One space I haven't talked about yet is our Periscope Pub. That's our first ever 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea inspired space aboard a Disney cruise ship. And that stepping aboard Captain Nemo's submarine and getting to see all these really cool fish and sharks and things swim above you. So another great example of something inspired by our classic park stories, but really something for all of us.
That's incredible. All right, where can we go for more information? Maybe book an adventure on the Disney Treasure.
I would encourage everyone to go to disneycruise.com. You're going to get all your information about itineraries, sail dates, and a bunch of more information about this beautiful ship.
Sign me up, coach. I'm coming.
Come on, let's go. Get on board.
Thanks for joining me, Claire. Few stories capture the imagination quite like Wicked. From its incredible run on Broadway, its highly anticipated big screen adaptation, this is a tale that's enchanted millions. Joining us today is Ethan Slater, the talented actor bringing Bach to life in this reimagined Oz. Ethan, welcome to the show, my friend.
And thank you for having me.
All right, I know you're used to stepping into some surreal worlds, like SpongeBob, and
yeah, sure.
Now you're jumping into Oz. It has a huge, passionate fan base. What was it like for you to kind of step into this world and take in the role of Bach and a character that's like really integral to the story?
Yeah, there is a lot of crossover there in some ways. SpongeBob meant so much to so many people for 20 years, right? It was like this piece of animation and comedy that like changed my sense of humor and all of my friends' sense of humor. And Wicked was kind of the same thing. It was a piece of theater that taught me how to think about theater. It was one of the first shows I ever saw when I was 11 years old. I think it was the second Broadway show I ever saw. And you know, I fell in love with the original Broadway cast album. I fell in love with this story, and it made me sort of want to do more and more and more and more. So I know how much it means to people because it meant that much to me. And just like with SpongeBob, where I wanted to take care of the character and make sure that people saw SpongeBob when they saw me, but I also wanted to put my own spin on it. So is the same with Bach. I wanted to make sure that I paid homage to Christopher Fitzgerald, who played it originally on Broadway, to the dozens of people, if not more, who have played it in the 2 decades since. But I also wanted to bring my own version of Bach to this world. And I feel really grateful, honestly, to John Chu, who fostered that in a huge way.
And the journey of creating Bach is both heartfelt and it's tragic. How did you approach balancing this kindness and his struggles with this unrequited love?
I think it's a really human thing and something that I think a lot of people can relate to. You know, Bach with Nessa, there's another unrequited love there, but their relationship over the course of this movie, it sort of blossoms. It starts from a place of misunderstanding, but I think they really care about each other, and they form a really real friendship that just means something different to Nessa than it does to Bach. And in the face of that, he's dealing with his unrequited love for Galinda. And I think what's really beautiful about this is the way that throughout all of that, Bach is still leading with good enough intentions, and he's you know, looking for his place in the world, and he kind of finds it. And then, you know, as John has talked about, a lot of Wicked is about what happens when the curtain is pulled back and the truth is revealed, and how do you handle that? How do you handle that shake up to your system, to your sense of the world? And that's kind of what starts to happen in part 2, which I'm really excited about, but can't really talk about yet. Sorry, I got ahead of myself.
That's all right. Your bosses aren't watching my show. You could put as many spoilers here as possible.
It might be.
The production design, it's breathtaking. What was it like filming in these like elaborate sets, and what are you excited for fans of Wicked to see?
The sets were stunning and larger than life. I think that's something that I was really amazed by in the moment. Was I remember walking onto the set of Shiz and just kind of like, you know, my eyes just like going up, 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 because they built this huge quad of the school, and there's a giant lake, and we entered the school on boats in the lake. And I remember thinking, God, I hope people don't assume this is CGI. I remember seeing, you know, the wizard head in the wizard's chambers, and thinking, I really hope people realize that in real life, those eyebrows and the lips are moving and the sound is coming through. It's all really built. And I think watching the movie, what I'm struck by is that the practical nature of the sets and of the costumes and of the world, it really comes through. It feels really lived in. And so it just sort of proved to me the value of it, I guess.
Ethan, thanks for joining me this morning and kind of giving us that little peek behind the curtain of Wicked. We can't wait to check it out. It's in theaters now, and thank you guys for joining me this morning.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and thanks everyone for watching. Go see Wicked, I guess.
That's it for Rise Unwind. I want to thank you for tuning in and checking out the show. If you want to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, look up Rise and Unwind. Go to our website, riseunwindtv.com. We got books from some of the authors in limited quantities, and we will give those to you for free. All you got to do is pay for shipping. And until next week, that was Rise and Unwind.